Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Tank be chopping, and we back with another haircut tutorial. Alright, guys, this is my boy Too Raw, man. I've known him for about 15-16 years. We used to do music together back in the day, but that's a whole nother story. But what we're gonna be doing on this cut is we're gonna be trimming the top, doing a drop fade, line him up, you know what I'm saying, adding a little bit of enhancements. But as y'all can see, what I'm doing here is I'm saturating the top of my client's hair. We are gonna go over the top with some shears, so we just want to get the hair ready to do that. And I was asking him about how much he wanted to take off, you know what I'm saying. So I'm showing him, and now I'm gonna take up a section of hair and I'm gonna take off the desired length. So we are taking off a good amount. He only comes like once every month and a half, so we are taking off about 3/4 of an inch or so, give or take, you know what I'm saying. And we're using this guideline coming forward, creating a mohawk guideline, and then we're gonna use that guideline to cut off the rest of my client's hair. I don't mean cut off, but to cut the rest of the top of my client's hair. So as you can see, I'm pulling up a section coming back, and everything that's longer than that initial guideline, I'm making sure to cut off. And I'm just gonna do this all through the top of my client's head, just because for me, this is the easiest way to cut the top. There's a lot of different ways you can go about cutting the top, a lot of different sections you can create, but I noticed for me, creating a mohawk section coming forward, and then using that section, using that guide, when I'm placing my sections in the opposite way, helps me get the top nice and even. So that's basically what I decided to do on this cut. And then once we got all that down to the length I want, what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start over directing some of the hair on the top to the side. That way I can start doing some shear work on the parietal ridge area. That way it makes it a little easier for me to blend into the when I start doing my clipper work, it's gonna make the clipper work easier to blend into the top. So we are gonna drop the fade down in the back. Like I said, we are doing a drop fade, so I'm making sure that I drop this guideline down in the back also. And we're just gonna do this all through the side of my client's head. Remember, guys, we're starting off that guideline in about the parietal ridge area, and then we're dropping it down in the back, trying to preserve some of that crown. When I do my clipper work, I am going to cut some of this off, but I like to do my sections, not my sections, I like to do when I do shear work, I like to do this on the side, especially if they have longer hair on top. If it's longer than like finger length, I do this because it really helps me blend my clipper work into my shear work on top. Alright, so now that is done, I'm taking my number 4 guard. I am using my Snap FX from Babyliss, and what I'm doing here is I'm debulking the sides. So I'm taking that number 4 guard, trying to blend it into the shear work that I already did on top and on the parietal ridge. That way, when it comes to me blending, I know I really only have to blend into a number 4, or in this case, I'm gonna do a number 4 and then follow that up with a number 3. So I really only have to worry about blending into that instead of worrying about blending into the longer hair on top. A lot of times people overcomplicate these things. They think like, man, I gotta take this 0 all the way up to shears on top. That's a long way to go. But if you debulk with a 4 and then come right under that with a 3, in my opinion, it makes it a lot easier, and it's super easy to blend into a 3, right? So that's why I like to do it this way, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm taking my number 3 guard and I'm coming right below what I did with my number 4 guard. That way I know that I really only have to blend into number 3, and I ain't gotta worry about too much of the work that I blending too much into the shear work. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you don't have to blend into the shear work, but it just makes it a little easier. And anything that doesn't blend, when I'm done blending into this 3, I'll go and detail it. And if I have to, for certain cuts, I do go back in and do some shear over comb, sometimes clipper over comb, or thinning shear over comb. But anyways, now that is done, as you can see, I'm taking my clipper lever closed. I'm gonna set in my initial bald guideline. So since we are doing a drop fade, I'm gonna make sure that I go over the ear and then drop it down in the back. And he doesn't really have a protruding occipital bone in the back, so a lot of times we see that on clients. We see that occipital bone really, it just shows a lot, and on this client it didn't. So we still try to keep it below that occipital bone. Obviously that's where you want to keep your drop fades. So that's basically what I'm doing here. And now that that is done, I'm just taking my trimmers. These are my Low Pro FX trimmers, and I'm just taking the side down to my trimmer length because I'm gonna come underneath that with my shaver. And I don't like to go all the way up to that line. That if I do, it makes it harder for me to blend out. So I don't go all the way to that line. I come right below it, and then when I do my shaver work, as y'all see me doing now, I stay right below that. And just for reference, this is the FX3 shaver from Babyliss. Alright, so now that that is done, I'm gonna go ahead and start blending. I'm taking my clipper with my lever all the way open, creating my next section. And all I'm doing is following that same shape, and I'm gonna follow this same shape all around my client's head. I like to set in a lot of my guidelines going all the way through all around my client's head, because for me, I feel that it helps me keep my blend where I need it at. It helps me keep my blend nice and symmetrical all through my client's head. If I do one side at a time, one side may be higher than the other, so I notice when I set in my guidelines all the way around, it really helps keep my fade where I want it to be at. So now that I put that section in, I'm gonna go on with my one guard lever open, and I'm gonna create another section. Once again, following that same shape, coming up about 1/2 inch or so, maybe 3/4 of an inch. It's more of 1/2 inch, but we're gonna follow that same shape going all the way around my client's head once again. And the reason why I'm coming up about 1/2 inch instead of 3/4 of an inch is the amount of room we have to work with. You always have to take that in consideration when you're cutting your client's hair. If you don't got a lot of room, you're gonna have to make your guidelines smaller, and if you have more room, you can make them guidelines bigger. But now what I'm doing is I'm going in with my 2 guard lever open, and I'm really gonna try to blend into that 3 guard. That way it's easier for me to blend this haircut together. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to create any more lines. I don't want to take this 2.5 guard too high up. So I'm just trying to keep it right here where I have it, and I'm trying to blend into that 3 that I did earlier on in the haircut. And once that gets blended in there, I'm gonna close my lever and come right below that with my 2 guard. Well, it's the same guard, but it's gonna be a true 2, not a 2.5 like it is now. So as y'all saw me do there, I did just close my 2 guard. So now it is a true 2 guard, and I'm just attacking the bottom of this section. And now that that is done, I do want to do a little bit of cleanup work towards the top of this blend. So this is my 4 guard. Just doing a little bit of cleanup work in the top area. There were some small discrepancies that I really didn't like the way it looked, so I wanted to make sure I cleaned that up before I moved on. So now I'm going in with my 1.5 guard. I started with it open, just attacked one little dark area, and then I closed it, and I'm just using my 1.5 guard lever closed to blend my one guard lever open section into that 2 section. And once that is done, I'm gonna take my 1 guard lever closed, and I'm gonna attack the bottom of my 1 guard open section. And as you can see, it's starting to erase that line towards the bottom of this blend. It's not gonna come out completely. I'm gonna have to go back in with my 1/2 guard, but I'm lightening that line. I'm softening that line. That way it makes it easier for me to blend with my 1/2 guard. And I am going in with my 1/2 guard halfway open. I'm sorry, not halfway open, 3/4 of the way open. So I have it open on the notch right before the last one. And I'm just attacking these dark areas at this line, just trying to get this line to become erased. And I will close my lever little by little until this line becomes erased. You want to be careful. Y'all gonna see it here in a second. I don't know if it was my 1/2 guard or if it was when I went with I can't even speak right now. I don't know if it wasn't my 1/2 guard because it's not there yet, but when I go here with my lever open, no guard, I am going to create a slight line that I'm gonna have to take out again. But that happens sometimes, sometimes, we tend to go a little higher than we want, so we have to go back in and fix it. But nonetheless, I'm going in with my clipper, no guard, just adjusting my lever as needed, trying to erase that bottom line. And as you can see, I kind of created a line towards the top of this section that I'm gonna have to go back in and clean up with my 1 guard and my 1/2 guard. But as y'all can see here, man, I'm just trying to be really consistent on what I'm doing, trying to get that bottom part of the blend to look right. And then, like I said earlier, I did leave a slight line of demarcation, so I'm going back in on my one guard, starting off with the lever open, and then I'll just adjust my lever as needed, trying to get this part of the blend to come together. It's not 100% where I wanted it. It's looking good, but it's not 100% where I wanted it. So I'm just trying to clean it up a little better. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I've been cutting his hair for about, man, I want to say about 15 years or so, give or take. And my boy, he doesn't have the easiest hair to fade. Me personally, I like doing tapers on him because they're easier for me. But he came in and he decided to switch things up and get a drop fade, which it was something new to me. So, you know what I'm saying? I know the next time I do give him this haircut, it's gonna look better. You know, I always feel like the second or third time you cut a client's hair or a type of haircut that you do on a client that's different, the second or third time is always the best time, or always the best looking haircut. But now we're going in with the FX3 trimmer. This is one of my favorite trimmers for longer hair. As you can see, he's got longer hair on top. So when it comes to edging up, sometimes some trimmers don't get that hair down. So I know the FX3 really eats, especially hair like this. So I use my FX3 when I'm doing longer hair, bangs, you know, the Edgar type cut. I like to use my FX3 because them things smack, you know what I'm saying? And now we're just adding the C cup on my client. He doesn't have a really strong C cup, but he's got enough hair there to where we can make that curve and make that curve look nice and sharp. And now I'm going in with my shear over comb, just trying to blend my clipper work into my shear work a little better. And I'm really just cutting the ends of my client's hair, not trying to cut too much. Don't want to leave any, you know, lines of demarcation, any other lines in there. So I was really just cutting the ends of my client's hair. And now I'm moving on to the opposite side. I did blend the opposite side, however, I didn't show it in the video. Now I'm just lining up this side of my client's head, trying to get this side to match the opposite side. And like I said, man, as y'all can see, these FX3s working on that liner, man. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to longer hair, bangs, Edgar type cuts, the FX3, man, they probably one of my go-tos for that. And now that we got that done, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of enhancements just to make this haircut look a little better, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it on both sides, make these lines pop. And then we are gonna add the barber pencil here in a second. As y'all can see, that's the Tune 45 barber pencil. Remember guys, if you wanna get anything from Tune 45, you can use my discount code TANK at tune45.com. But back to the haircut. Now we're moving on to the razor work, and we're just doing the vertical bars and the C cup with the razor. Since the top was like overhang, we didn't really need to do that with the razor. But nonetheless, man, check it out. This is how my man 2 Raw came into the shop looking. This is the before look. And this is the finished product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe one time for your boy. Remember guys, if you're in the Houston, Texas area and want a haircut from your boy, you can go to my website, tankbechopping.com. You can book there. But yeah, YouTube, I appreciate y'all for watching, man. That's basically it for this video. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go. You.